Hey guys, got 3 rounds of exponents coming at you. This is part 1 today, and the question of the day, multiply or add. So when you look at these two right here, these exponents, the 7-3 and the 7-3, you've got to decide one of these I multiply, one of these I add. Multiply or add, which one is it? So when you have the same base, you add the exponents. So this one is 7 plus 3a to the 10th. This is power to power. So whenever you got one base, exponents multiplied together, power to power, that's when you multiply. So over and over today, the question is multiply or add? Multiply or add? Let's do another one. Let's say we had just some numbers. How about like 14 to the 6th and 14 to the 3rd? So you got the same base. The question is, do you multiply? Do you add? Multiply or add? Multiply or add? Well, in this case, we're adding. So this will be 14 to the 9th. All right, let's do another one. Let's say we had a whole bunch of them. W's. How about we got W to the 5th, W to the 6th, W to the 7th. So we got a W, we got a W, we got a W. Multiply or add? Multiply or add? Add is correct. So we're going to be rolling with 1W, 5 plus 6 plus 7. What is that, 18th? Boom. All right, 4 down. I got about a dozen of these. Let's do some more. This is one you'll see on your homework, or if we were taking a test or a quiz, this one would show up. -8, a to the 5th. 7a to the 6th. So now you've got to deal with numbers, and you've got to deal with letters, and you've got to deal with exponents, all in this case. So really you want to just get organized. You want to take the -8 and the 7. You want to get them together, your A's, get those together, and then you could just work it. -8 times 7, -56, and then you have the 5 and the 6 right here. Multiply or add? Add is correct. 5 plus 6, 11. So that's one you'll definitely see again. Let's do another one like that. How about, we've got, let's say, 22M. What do we have here? MAN2. We got a 4M. How about N to the 5th? Let's say you have this problem. And again, you just want to stay organized. Just stay organized. Numbers together, letters together. Let's go. We got the 22 and we got the 4. We got them multiplied together. You have an M to the 8th and an M all by itself. So here's M. Now, I will ask you this. The M, it has no number there. If there's no exponent there, what do you put? Understood, 1. Yeah, so the 1 goes in. Then we have some N's, N to the 2, N to the 5th. So, Mr. Porter style of math, instead of one big giant question, we just break it up into smaller parts. So that's the way I always do it. Instead of giant problems, just break it into several little problems. 22 times 4, that's 88. Add my exponents, M to the 9th, N to the 7th. And there you go. Definitely one you will see again, number 5 and number 6. Aha, the greatest trick question in the history of math, greatest trick question ever invented in math. Right here, right now, number 7. Let's say we had 12 to the 0 power. How about N to the 0 power? How about, I don't know, like 3xy with parentheses, 0 power? So, greatest trick question ever invented. You see 0 power, you think 0. But none of these turn out to be 0. Anything to the 0 power turns out to be a 1. So, probably knew this, but if not, there's your enlightenment today. 0 power turns out to be 1. Now you got several of these that come running at you today. As long as you're in parentheses, like -7 to the 0, if you're inside parentheses, just turns out to be 1. How it gets a little weird if there's no parentheses. Now you got to be careful. So you got to be careful on this. There's no parentheses. So what this really means is this is negative 1 times 7 to the 0. So negative 1 and then 7 to the 0, this turns out to be 1. And then negative 1 times 1 is negative 1. So inside parentheses just turns out to be 1. But if there's no parentheses, be careful. Write in that negative 1. What if there's a whole bunch of negatives? Let's say we had a negative, and then we had a negative there, and 0 power. So you've got both. You've got inside the parentheses and outside the parentheses. So this will be negative 1 times negative 7 to the 0. This is inside parentheses. So this just turns out to be a 1. And then the whole thing turns out to be negative 1 at the very end. Oh yeah, a lot of tricks and trades there. What if we had, how about this little problem? How about negative 7 to the 0 plus 7 to the 0? Okay. Well, there's no parentheses, so this will be negative 1. 7 to 0 turns out to be 1, so that part of the problem is negative 1. This is just 7 to the 0, there's a plus sign, there's nothing scary there, it's just 1. And then when you add the negative 1 and the positive 1, zero's out. All right, how about one more on this exponent day? What if, all right, I got you. How about instead of numbers, we just went letters? So for number 12, let's say we had m to the 0 plus n to the 0. Let's see what that turns out to be. Well, it's to the 0 power, turns out to be 1. This is n to the 0 power. That turns out to be 1. And you got a 1, and you got a 1, and you got to add them up, and you got a 2. So, 3 rounds of exponents. This is exponents part 1. There you go.